Hey guys, Magic here. Today I want to talk about shame. Um, I personally hold a lot of shame about a lot of things that have happened in my past and my life in general. I was raised kind of like in a culture of guilt almost. I was raised Catholic, and there were very strict rules, and not just the Catholic rules, but like my family rules were super strict. You had to act a certain way. You had to be a certain way. You had to be so smart. You had to do all these things. And if you failed to hit the bar, the perfect bar, as I called it as a kid, you you were ostracized. You were guilted. You were shamed. Sometimes you were beaten. There were a lot of physical, emotional, and mental consequences for failure to hit the bar. Problem was is that if you did hit the bar would move. It would get higher, harder to attain. Um, there were many instances in which I was very embarrassed or belittled and judged and criticized. I've got, as a result of it, I've actually developed a complex where I can't really do anything if I perceive that in some way somebody might perceive me as being dumb or looking stupid or whatever. It's like whenever I try to play hacky sack and I can't make my leg kick because I'm worried that if I miss it, I'll look dumb and then I'll be attacked or hurt. Um, yeah, that's why throwing the disc in disc golf. I couldn't do it with them looking at me. It was because I had all this fear that if like I failed, that something awful was going to happen. Um, I very often failed to hit the bar, and I just developed this strong fear of the consequences of not seeming to be perfect or not seeming to be good enough. Um, I tend to feel a lot of shame and go down negative spirals if like someone I really care about disapproves of me. When I was younger, there wasn't really, aside from my family, there wasn't many people I cared about their thoughts. So the idea that when people would tell me I was going to hell, which was very frequently and sometimes still happens, that would upset me because the perceived disapproval of God would make me feel shamed and feel like I was never going to be good enough. And nowadays, anyone that I care about, if they start to disapprove of me or they act like I did something wrong, I feel myself immediately sink into this negative spiral, and I have to like consciously try to pull myself out of it because I'll start feeling guilty or foolish. I'll get really distressed. I'll start to feel ashamed and I'll become sensitive. And sometimes, depending on who it is, I'll become outright submissive. Like I'll start to adapt my personality, my behaviors, what I say, what I do, what I think to them because I'm trying to appease this. I'm trying to make this feeling go away. I often want to hide when I feel that way. I want to just kind of curl up in a ball. I say I want to curl up in a ball and die or go into a hole or something. Um, it tends to spark the old thoughts of self harm, even though I haven't done that in a while, and don't plan on doing it anymore. The thoughts will pop up in the head sometimes with it, causes me to feel anxious, like something awful is going to happen. They're going to hurt me. They're going to something bad, or they're just going to abandon me. Whatever. I get really depressed because I feel like, well, I failed. I'm not good enough. I'm not a good person. I suck. And then I start to obsessively think about it and try to fix it, and I just can't let it go because of all the shame that I feel. I have started to recognize this pattern in myself, though, um, and that sometimes this shame will prompt me to do things that I don't actually agree with. So I do know that it's important to have morals and values. That's needed for the greater good. But I feel like now I tend to question more, is this feeling really helping me? I mean, sometimes I still fall victim to it, but I am getting better at recognizing when it is not being helpful and it's just making me feel bad or evil or like I'm just a failure. But sometimes the shame and the guilt does help me improve and be better, and that's fine. But whenever it just makes me feel like I'm an awful person, I don't even deserve to live, then I know that there is an issue and I need to correct it. And so I have to do some breathing, have to work on myself a little bit and talk myself through it. I have to remember that the past is the past, and that behavior and everything is way more complicated than a lot of people want to believe it is. And that, you know, mistakes happen and we just need to learn from them. They don't need to define us. I need to look back at like where these feelings originate from and love myself then and now the best I can, and learn to forgive myself like I do other people. Sometimes I just need to talk to someone about it, talk to them about how I'm feeling, about why I feel that way, what's going through my head. Sometimes I just need to voice what's going through my head so that way it can stop. Because once I voice it, sometimes it loses its hold. But I am working on it. So those are things that I found helpful, is just finding someone to talk to, just to voice the thoughts that makes it go away. Trying to love yourself in the past and now. Practicing self-care, deep breathing. So that's it for today, guys. Go and spread the love, because love always wins.